Well, as the head of HR, I mean, the whole notion about inclusion really lends itself to having a more diverse workplace. And so a lot of our commitment has been around how do people bring their best selves to work every day? Because, you know, the notion of you have a separate work life and a home life has really become blurred, because you work quite a bit, and what you bring to home is what you bring to work. And so how do we create a place where people have a voice, where they're listened to, where they are a part of a bigger community and not in the margins? And so a lot of our work are having those conversations around how do you bring people into the conversation, and ultimately it's just good business. I mean, I never have to rationalize why sitting across the table from 4 white guys is not a good idea versus sitting across the table from a diverse group of people. So what we're trying to do in the company is bring those voices in so we can have better business results and also have people who want to stay and thrive. So it's a big part of our fabric culturally, as well as part of our business operating cadences. Yeah, I would say there's a couple of things we're doing. So first of all, I think everyone's suffering from this. It doesn't make it okay, but we're all trying to find what are the right things to go after. And you can be incredibly activity-based and feel good about it, but get no results. So we're trying to be really thoughtful about how we approach it. So it's everything from how do we build awareness, which is having us out here talking, and also us talking to our teams about how do they feel included and what are some things we can do to get them a bigger voice in the company. Greg recently signed up for the CEO Action Campaign with PwC, which is top CEOs across the country committing to diversity in their workplace. And that was a huge thing because it's held us to a whole different accountability, not just internally, but externally. We're looking at ways of like taking bias out of the system. How do you have diverse interview slates? How do you have diverse panels? How do you gender neutralize job descriptions, which sometimes are so slanted one way, you're not attracting the right workforce? How do you kind of open up your amateur relayed to pipeline? Like, we always want to kind of hire in our image. And back to Sheila's point, we have a gap in talent. So you have to be really thoughtful about, perhaps I think 70% of the capability we met by this person, because they have so much more they can learn and they have potential to go learn it. So how do we get a little more open around the type of people we go after? And then the last thing is, how do I build a better set of inclusive leadership? And that notion of servant leader. How do I get my leaders to bring people into the conversation? How do I have them make certain that they're listening to all the areas of opportunity? How do I make certain they're taking chances on people? They're being accessible. It's not that I'm going to open a door for you to get the job, but I'm going to at least get you into the conversation, and it's up to you to get that job. How do we have more of that capability in the organization? So we're taking three to four different approaches that are deep and systemic, as opposed to putting a bunch of posters, which we've done, and they look great, all over the workplace, really trying to make things that are C-level change and behavioral shifts. And back to Greg's point, it doesn't happen overnight, but if you pull the right levers, you can begin to see some real impact and change. Yeah, I would say, I mean, one of the things that is so amazing about the company is the mission. People are here because they want to like go after the bad guys. So that's not a hard thing to argue against. And I got to tell you, I was just telling Greg, I got hacked the other day with a food delivery service, of which I will not give you the name. But suddenly I was buying lots of alcohol in LA, which I don't buy my alcohol off of a delivery platform. But I was shocked, and I'm like, oh my gosh. I mean, I've gotten it. You know, I was a target customer. I got breached them, but it's so personal. You know, I've got 2 teenage daughters who have devices. Our whole home is full of probably devices that I don't even know about, and it becomes super personal and super upsetting that you've been violated in terms of your personal information. And so for me personally, that's why I come to work every day, and the people we work with really care about this stuff. And back to Greg's point, we're doing things that matter, which makes it really easy to want to do this kind of work.
Yeah.